Richard Landry dreamt of being on Moonshiners. Get to know the award-winning distiller in the world of moonshine and handcrafted spirits. There are few names that ring out with as much passion and authenticity as Richard Landry. While many dream of seeing their name on the bottles of their own brand, Landry's dream was more unconventional. He longed to be a part of the rowdy, rebellious world of Moonshiners, the hit reality television show that chronicles the lives of Appalachian distillers. What started as a childhood fascination with the craft of distilling, however, has blossomed into a thriving career that not only earns Landry accolades, but also has reshaped the narrative around small-batch, artisanal spirits. From his humble beginnings in rural Louisiana, Landry's journey from moonshine dreamer to award-winning distiller is a tale of grit, passion, and a deep-rooted love for the craft of distilling. Along the way, he has earned a loyal following among whiskey connoisseurs and distilled spirit enthusiasts, proving that even in an age of mass production, the artistry and tradition of moonshining can thrive in the modern world. The dream that started it all for Richard Landry, the dream of being part of Moonshiners, didn't come out of nowhere. Like many young men raised in rural Southern America, he grew up hearing stories of the old-timers who would distill their own spirits in the backwoods, passing down recipes from one generation to the next. It wasn't just the outlaw nature of moonshining that caught Landry's attention. It was the craftsmanship involved in every bottle. It's an art form, says Landry. You take ingredients, raw materials, and make something that's both functional and beautiful. And with the right touch, you can create something magical. Landry's passion for the craft of distilling grew through his teenage years, when he began experimenting with home brewing and small-scale distilling in his garage. He would watch Moonshiners on TV and imagine what it would be like to be one of the people behind those bottles of potent liquor. There was something so real about the people on that show, he recalls. They weren't just making moonshine for the sake of making it. They were preserving a piece of history. They weren't afraid to get their hands dirty, and that resonated with me. Landry's dream didn't start with aspirations of fame or fortune. He wasn't interested in the limelight of a reality show. Instead, he envisioned the show as a platform to learn and share in the ancient tradition of distilling. He knew that Moonshiners was more than just a television show. It was an opportunity to validate a centuries-old craft, to demonstrate the value of quality over quantity, and to show the world that real moonshine wasn't just about cheap alcohol. It was about the pursuit of perfection, the road to craft distilling. Despite his passion, Landry didn't immediately find his place in the moonshine world. After high school, he went on to study agricultural sciences at Louisiana State University, all the while continuing to tinker with distilling in his free time. He realized that to succeed in the world of spirits, he needed to go beyond intuition and gain formal education in fermentation, distillation, and business. After graduating, Landry worked on a variety of agricultural ventures before finally deciding to pursue his dream of becoming a professional distiller. I knew that I needed to learn from the best if I was going to be serious about this, says Landry. So I started working with some of the top distilleries in the country, learning everything I could from their teams. It was a humbling experience, but it set me on the path to create something of my own. Landry eventually found his way to the mountains of Tennessee, where he apprenticed under legendary distillers who had been perfecting the craft for decades. It was there that he truly honed his skills, learning how to create premium spirits that stood out in the increasingly crowded world of craft distilling. During his time in Tennessee, Landry became deeply inspired by the heritage and culture of Appalachian moonshining. The stories of Prohibition-era distillers, who made moonshine to survive, were rich with history. He spent hours talking with old-timers who still carried the traditions of the craft, picking up tips, techniques, and trade secrets that had been passed down through the generations. Landry's love for the craft of distilling deepened as he grew increasingly fascinated with the chemistry behind the process and how slight tweaks in temperature, ingredients, or timing could drastically change the flavor of the final product. The birth of a brand in 2015. Landry decided it was time to take the plunge and start his own distillery. Drawing on his knowledge and experience, he founded Landry's Moonshine in a small, unassuming building nestled just outside Nashville, Tennessee. He had a vision combined the best aspects of traditional moonshining with modern technology and sustainable practices. Unlike many craft distilleries that use large industrial equipment, Landry focused on small batch production, where he could control every aspect of the distilling process. "I wanted to create something that felt personal," Landry explains. "With small batches, we can focus on quality. We don't have to compromise. We're not trying to be the biggest. We're trying to be the best." Landry's moonshine quickly garnered attention for its distinctive flavors, quality ingredients, and, perhaps most notably, its authenticity. The brand quickly rose to prominence within the craft spirit scene, winning numerous awards for best small batch distilling. Critics raved about the smoothness and complexity of the spirits, with each bottle showcasing Landry's skill and commitment to his craft. Despite his growing success, Landry never forgot his roots. He maintained a commitment to sourcing ingredients locally, using corn, sugar, and fruit from nearby farms, ensuring that his products captured the essence of Tennessee terroir. He also kept the spirit of rebellion alive, embracing the boldness of moonshining while honoring its history. From moonshine dreams to reality in 2018, after years of developing his craft and growing his brand, Richard Landry received a phone call that would change everything. The producers of Moonshiners had heard about his success and invited him to be featured on the show. "It was a dream come true," Landry says, laughing. "It wasn't something I ever thought would happen, but when they called, I jumped at the chance." Being on Moonshiners was both a challenge and a thrill. For Landry, it wasn't about the TV cameras or the celebrity status. It was about proving that his approach to distilling, one that embraced both tradition and innovation, was legitimate. He became known for his ability to create unique, top-quality spirits, including his award-winning Mountain Gold Moonshine, a smooth, honey-infused recipe that gained national acclaim. His appearance on the show helped elevate his profile in the distilling community, turning Landry's Moonshine into a household name for connoisseurs of artisanal spirits. More than that, it allowed Landry to showcase his philosophy on the craft. On the show, he demonstrated that real moonshine wasn't about cutting corners or taking shortcuts. Instead, it was about patience, precision, and respect for the process. "It's a discipline," he says. "You can't rush it. Every distillation, every batch, takes time and care." What's next for Richard Landry today? Richard Landry is not just a celebrated distiller. He's an ambassador for the art of small batch moonshine. His products are now available in high-end liquor stores across the United States, and he's constantly experimenting with new recipes and flavors. In addition to his core range of moonshines, he's developed a line of aged spirits and even dabbling in brandy. His distillery has become a destination for tourists who want to see firsthand the magic of moonshine being made from scratch. But as Landry's reputation grows, so does his commitment to preserving the tradition of moonshining. He remains an advocate for sustainable practices in the industry, using eco-friendly production methods and focusing on responsible agriculture. His distillery has become a model for those who wish to enter the craft spirits world without sacrificing environmental responsibility or quality. Looking to the future, Landry is focused on expanding his brand while maintaining the intimacy and personal touch that has defined his success. As we grow, I want to keep it feeling like a family business, he says. We're all about the craft, and as long as that stays at the heart of what we do, I'm happy. For Richard Landry, the dream of being on Moonshiners was just the beginning. The journey has taken him from a young man, experimenting with distilling in his garage, to one of the most respected distillers in the world today. And through it all, he's stayed true to his roots, combining tradition with innovation to create spirits that not only reflect his craft but his passion. Landry's dream wasn't about fame. It was about distilling excellence, and that's exactly what he's done. His story proves that with determination, respect for the craft, and a willingness to embrace both the past and the future, anything is possible.